A secret meeting at the Bank of England. Trillions of dollars just sitting on the sidelines, ready to move. A coordinated plan by some of the world's biggest financial institutions. So what's going on here? Well, today we're diving into a massive theory that's been making the rounds online, the idea that a quiet institutional takeover of global finance is happening right now, with the cryptocurrency XRP right at the center of it all. And the story, it doesn't start on some crazy trading floor. It starts in a single quiet room in London. Now, this one sentence, it's really the bedrock of this whole thing. It suggests that what happened in that room wasn't just some casual discussion. No, this was a pivotal event, a moment that supposedly kicked off a financial shift so massive we're only just now starting to see the dominoes fall. All right, so let's jump right in at the beginning. The theory alleges it all kicked off with a secret meeting way back in 2019, held within the very walls of the Bank of England. This is supposedly ground zero for the entire operation. Just picture it, a consultant room on Threadneedle Street. According to the source, the whole future of European banking was on the table. And we're not talking about small adjustments here. The story goes that this was a meeting to design a completely new financial architecture, basically from scratch. And check out who was supposedly at that table? We're not talking about junior staff. The theory claims you have the absolute pillars of European banking. Barclays, Deutsche Bank, BNP Paribas, all there. Plus a key policy advisor from the European Central Bank. And who's sitting across from them? Ripple's institutional strategy team. The sheer weight of the names involved is what gives this theory its power. So what were they proposing? Well, it was something pretty radical. A new euro-backed digital asset, think of it as a stablecoin specifically for business settlements, all built to connect directly with the XRP ledger. The goal here? To replace the old clunky system. The source claims the banks got it immediately, realizing this could unlock billions in cash that's currently just stuck, trapped in their outdated settlement networks. Okay, so for a plan this huge to actually work, it can't just stay in Europe, right? So the next chapter in this theory is all about how we start to see public signs of validation, and they're coming from the biggest names on Wall Street. $2.3 trillion. I mean, that's just a mind-boggling number. The theory points to a report from Franklin Templeton, a massive asset manager handling over $1 trillion themselves, saying that there's $2.3 trillion in global cash just waiting to pour into digital assets. And you know what? When they listed the key players in that future, they didn't just mention Bitcoin and Ethereum. They specifically named XRP. And then you get this quote, which, for people who believe this theory, is basically the smoking gun. It's an alleged admission from a huge financial player that they've had a long-term secret partnership with Ripple. It suggests that while all of us saw public speculation, behind the scenes, there were years of quiet work and testing happening under very strict non-disclosure agreements. And wouldn't you know it, the theory says the money started to flow. This chart, using data from WisdomTree, shows where institutional money has been going in Europe. Just look at XRP. It's right there, neck and neck with Bitcoin and absolutely blowing past Ethereum. Proponents of this theory say that's no accident. They see it as cold, hard proof that the smart, institutional money was making a strategic move into XRP. All right, now we get to what many people see as the most powerful piece of this entire puzzle. After years of being publicly skeptical of crypto, the narrative claims that the major U.S. retail banks suddenly, and all at once, did a complete 180. The really critical part here is the timing. We're talking about a single week. Within just a few days, you've got Vanguard, Bank of America, and Charles Schwab. We're talking institutions that control trillions in assets, all pivoting to embrace crypto. The theory argues this isn't a coincidence, it's a coordinated move. So for those who buy into this narrative, the conclusion is pretty clear. A decision was made way up at the top. The floodgates, which had kept trillions of dollars in regular retail and advisory money out of the crypto space, were suddenly and very deliberately swung wide open. But hold on. To move trillions of dollars, you need more than just a green light, right? You need the pipes, you need the infrastructure. So the next part of this theory is all about the technological rails that Ripple had supposedly been building in secret, just getting ready for this exact moment. The core argument goes like this. Big institutions don't want a messy toolbox with a bunch of different parts. They want a single, elegant solution. And the theory claims this is exactly what Ripple built. Not just a cryptocurrency, but a complete all-in-one system for institutions, handling everything from custody and payments to liquidity and compliance, the whole shebang.
And here's where you can really see the technological leap they're talking about. On one side, you have the old SWIFT system. It's slow, it's expensive, and it forces banks to keep money parked all over the world just in case. But on the other side, you have the Ripple system, powered by the XRP ledger, promising instant, on-demand settlement for a tiny fraction of the cost.
Okay, so how does this all add up? The final section of this narrative takes all these different puzzle pieces, the secret meetings, the Wall Street nods, the technology, and assembles them into one single grand conclusion about where finance is headed. Now, during Ripple's big legal fight with the SEC, the theory claims something amazing came to light. Over 1,700 non-disclosure agreements that Ripple had with all sorts of institutions. Now, to supporters of this theory, that isn't just a number on a page. It's proof of a vast hidden network that Ripple had been building for years, completely under the radar. And this is how the whole picture is painted. A secret meeting in London set the plan in motion. Wall Street heavy hitters like Franklin Templeton secretly built out the partnerships. The data shows institutional money started pouring in. Then the legacy banks all flipped the switch at the same time, opening the doors for mass adoption. And the whole time, Ripple was building the tech to make it all work seamlessly. And this brings us to the theory's absolutely breathtaking conclusion. These aren't seen as just random market events. They are viewed as deliberate, coordinated preparations for what could be the single largest planned movement of money in modern history. So where does that leave us? Is this a brilliantly woven story, connecting dots that aren't really there to fit a narrative? Or are these the actual breadcrumbs of a quiet financial revolution, planned years in advance and unfolding right before our eyes? The pieces have been laid out on the board. What you make of them, well, that's up to you to decide.